Your childhood zip code is a better predictor of your net worth than your actual IQ. By age 7, the subconscious financial blueprint carved by your parents' bank account begins to hardwire your adult risk appetite. While you believe your investment choices are purely logical, this deep seated psychological conditioning dictates whether you gravitate towards scarcity or abundance. We are dissecting the exact mechanics of this hidden survival mechanism. And the final factor: it is rarely talked about, yet it is arguably the single most influential variable in how you treat your savings account. So sit back, grab a cup of water, and let's get to it. To understand your own financial habits, you have to look at what sociologists call the habitus. This is a fancy term for the set of dispositions, habits, and preferences you picked up during your childhood and early adult years. Think of it as a mental operating system installed by your environment before you ever even opened your first bank account. Research published in the Journal of Consumer Research tracked thousands of participants and found that individuals raised in lower income households were significantly more likely to prioritize immediate gratification over long term investment. This isn't because they lack intelligence or willpower. It is a rational response to an environment where the future feels volatile. If you grew up in a household where a sudden car repair meant the difference between paying rent and losing the apartment, your brain learned to devalue long term savings in favor of short term security. You learned that money in your pocket is safer than money in a bank account that could be wiped out by an emergency. This is the first win for your financial awareness. Once you identify that your urge to spend now is actually a lingering survival mechanism from your childhood, you can stop shaming yourself and start rewiring your response to extra cash. You can acknowledge the feeling of panic when your checking account hits a certain low, recognize it as an inherited trait, and then make a deliberate choice to bypass that old software. It is entirely possible to move past this by simply automating your savings the moment your paycheck hits, treating that transfer as a non negotiable bill rather than an optional savings goal. Now, here is where things get interesting, because socioeconomic status doesn't just affect spending, it dictates how you perceive risk. Have you ever wondered why some people seem terrified of the stock market, even when they have enough income to participate comfortably? A study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that families from middle class backgrounds tend to approach money with a preservation mindset, whereas those from high wealth backgrounds view money as a growth tool. This is the level up in understanding. If your parents grew up in a world where hard work equaled steady wages, you likely internalize that income is something you earn through labor, not through the movement of capital. Consequently, you view investing as a form of gambling rather than a necessary act of capital allocation. If you are finding this perspective helpful, hit subscribe. I drop videos like this every week that help you decode the invisible forces shaping your life. The people who build generational wealth often do so because they were taught early on that money is meant to reproduce, not just sustain. They don't just ask, how much can I earn? They ask, how much can I own? This shift is subtle but profound. You can start applying this today by forcing yourself to label your assets. Stop thinking of your money as one big lump sum in your bank account and start categorizing it. Create a growth bucket that you touch only for investments and a utility bucket for your monthly expenses. This creates a physical and mental wall between the money you work for and the money that works for you. All right, now for the one I've been saving for you. This is the factor that most financial experts ignore, and it works better than the first two methods combined. It is the concept of social signaling and how it distorts your true financial capability. There is a fascinating phenomenon called conspicuous consumption that was first identified by economist Thorstein Veblen way back in 1899. He noticed that people at every level of the social hierarchy spend money they don't have to purchase items that signal their status to the tier above them. Why do we do this? Because we are wired for social belonging, and in modern society, status is often communicated through the brands we wear, the cars we drive, and the neighborhoods we inhabit. But here is the kicker: high status individuals, specifically those with old money or established generational wealth, actually display the least amount of conspicuous consumption. They don't need to prove anything. The people who are truly winning the financial game often look the most average. They wear simple clothes, they drive reliable cars that are a few years old, and they prioritize privacy over prestige. The most powerful realization you can have is that your desire to spend is often just a social signal to people who don't actually care about your financial stability. Think about that. When you spend $500 on a luxury item to impress your friends or your neighbors, you are literally trading your future freedom for a fleeting moment of external validation. Once you see it this way, you can't unsee it. You stop competing in a status race you were never designed to win, and you start optimizing for your own peace of mind. This is the ultimate financial hack. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much of that money you keep from being siphoned off by the need to signal your status to the world. So, there you go. We talked about how your childhood environment creates your spending habits, how your socioeconomic background dictates your comfort with risk, and finally, how the social signaling trap is the biggest drain on your net worth. If you got value from this, share it with someone who needs to hear it and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I've got something even better coming next week. We're going to discuss the specific psychology of lifestyle creep and how to stop it once and for all. Until then, take a look at your bank statements with these three lenses in mind. You might be surprised at how quickly your perspective and your bank balance starts to shift. You are more in control than you think. You've got this. Keep going. There is no limit to what you can build once you understand the game you are actually playing. Keep your eyes on the goal, stay disciplined with your buckets, and don't let the noise of status get in the way of your reality. See you next time. Take care.